Hey YouTube, this time I'm actually going to talk about a topic that is very much in the news today in Japan, and I'd like to discuss it with you. It's a very recent issue, so I'm going to explain first what happened in Japan, and I'm going to explain to you the significance, which you'll miss if you just read the articles, of what has actually happened in Japan. And I feel strong enough about it that I actually like to share this with you and also base it on a couple of stories of people of my friends. Tokyo Medical University has since 2011 lowered the exam scores of female applicants. That is a crazy amount of time in which that happened. So 2010, it was the first time that not only 30% of women applied there, it was, oh my god, 38% of women who passed and actually got into the university. And that apparently raised all the alarm bells, and then there was a silent agreement that they would lower the scores of female applicants. That's a crazy number. So they help boost male doctors, and the reasoning they gave is that women will sooner or later give birth, and it might mean that they're not at the workplace all the time, and it might mean that they are, you know, maybe resigning their job in that place and stuff like that. So the reason for it is literally like, you can have kids. Some of the number scores where they accepted 141 men to only 30 women into the university. So this issue of the Tokyo Medical University raised a massive flame war on the social networking services. Loads of people have been talking about it because they say, we're very sure that this is not the only university who does it, how many other universities do it. And one woman said, look, you know, as a woman in Japan, you're constantly told that, you know, the reason you're there is to give birth and to have kids. But then if you don't have kids, people tell you, you know, you're a burden to society and you're a bad woman. But if you then do decide to have kids, people use it as a reasoning to not let you study the things you would like to study, and a reason for many other things that you can't have or can't get as a woman because you have kids. So which actually then creates the discrepancy of, you know, a low birth rate, because women say, okay, well then I can't give birth because I can't have the time or I can't have the money to raise kids. So this is an issue that is incredibly complex actually, and I can't get into it completely now, but I just wanted to point out that like loads of women, but also men, have said this is a shame to our society, what's been happening, that this shouldn't be happening. But another number here is 73% of companies have no women in management level. That's an incredibly low number. There are more women in the workforce since Abe started, but those are not qualified. It's like a quantity, but not a quality of jobs. So again, you're allowed to work if you maybe work in a supermarket, but you're not really allowed to, you know, step up in the supermarket or somewhere to actually go into the manager position. Now, why does this make me so incredibly upset? I know several students who have tried to study medicine in Japan, and I'm going to explain you the process, and it's very different from your country. So first of all, only a few people actually get accepted into medical universities. An incredibly small number of people that they accept into medicine, because in Japan, doctors and lawyers are like the elite of society. It's so hard to get into it that if you make it into it, you earn a lot of money. So it's already a big elite. And generally, the majority of people who study medicine have fathers or mothers who are in medicine already to actually finance that, because actually studying medicine is incredibly time consuming and is also incredibly expensive. So here are the steps for it. First of all, you have to get into the right middle school. Like this starts from very young age, literally very young age, sometimes even, you know, the right kindergarten, but let's say just start from, you have to get into the right middle school. So you come out of primary school, you have to get into the right middle school that takes you then to the right high school that is a high enough level and prestigious enough to teach you the right things to actually apply for it. Furthermore, that high school is definitely not enough, so you'll also have to join cram schools at night, which means the last years of high school, when other people in other countries would maybe enjoy their last teenage years before they actually go into university or work, those last years will actually completely be burnt up by going to cram school at night. So what I've seen quite a lot of people who have been studying here for entrance exams at Japanese universities, they would study so much after school and at night that when they went to school, they would fall asleep in class because they've been starting to get so tired from all through the night studying that, that was the only time when they could get sleep. So when in class things were told that are not relevant to their entrance exams, they would just sleep through it, and the teachers will let them sleep through it because they know that they're studying for their entrance exams. Now, the topics that are covered in the entrance exam, again, are not things that you generally would learn in school, which means you will have to learn completely different subjects in order to actually apply for that. That's why the extra cram school comes in. So you basically sacrifice your teenage years and your, even the childhood years, if you start earlier, for that dream, to study at that university, to study especially medicine. Like, all these things apply for other categories as well, but especially medicine because it's so hard to get into it. Now, once you're there will be then the entrance exams at university. And those are not based on, what kind of score you had in school or something. Like, for example, in Germany, the score you graduated from is what you then use to apply at university. You have to completely study several subjects. There's generally a middle exam, like the center exam that everyone has to do, and then after that exam you actually would go to the actual university, show your score from the first exam, and then they will have the test with you there. You'd go like, well, why don't you just go and apply at several universities and one of them will pick you for medicine. That's not how it works, because what many of those universities do, what my friends have told me, they will have the entrance exam either on the same day or on the same week, and sometimes you cannot actually go from that to that. So you have to pick already where you will be applying, because, for example, in one region they will all have that exam on the same day. So you can only pick one or maybe two a year to apply to. So you only get one or two chances, and then they will also have different subjects. Maybe one of them will say you have to learn geography in order to pass the test. So they will ask you things that are sometimes also not related to medicine at all to actually get into the university. If you miss your chance to get into university at those tests, then you'll have to go Ryunin. Ryunin is, for example, explained with a samurai who has a year without a master. And Ryunin is seen as a very negative thing as well in society. Sometimes people compare them to NEETs because you're not really getting any money in, or you're doing anything to contribute to society. So it's seen very negatively, but that year you can't say, oh, I'm gonna, like, at the start of the year I'm gonna do some fun things and I'm gonna study. No, boom. What most of those cram schools do, if you don't pass the exam, they get straight into it, and so you will have extra classes for the whole year, even on weekends, that then teach you those subjects again, so you can cram that into your head in order to pass the exams the year after that. So everything, again, that Ryunin you can't take easily. People have to literally lock themselves away and they don't go out, because, and for some it's a real shame that you haven't passed yet, and at the same time, you kind of feel like you don't deserve going out because you need to pass the exam in a year's time, because so much depends on it. So that happens. So just let me summarize this. Those schools, those cram lessons, those books, there's money for the exams, everything, that costs a lot of money, and that costs your time. And when that money and that time runs out, it's over, which means some people, they have a second chance for a Ryunin. They do it maybe for 1 year, and the parents will actually pay those expensive cram schools and all these extra things and the tests again for them for a year. But if you don't pass it, then the second time you go around, and maybe the third time, then there will be a point when the parents say, look, you're not gonna make it, study something else. And that is the point, because so many girls will have sacrificed their youth, their money, the time, and the efforts to be told they're not good enough. They've been told they're not good enough, they're not clever enough to become a doctor, even though they were. And that's the point that I find so sad, that in those years, because since 2011, if someone in 2011 was there and they go downgraded and didn't get in, they will have given up by now, because no parents will have financed that for like 7 years. And that's what I find so incredibly shocking. So guys, that's all I wanted to say. It was just really upsetting for me. I just wanted to get this out. I know I never get political on my channel. I never try to discuss issues, but this literally made me so upset that I just wanted to talk about it. Because obviously just reading, oh, some university has lowered some scores, it might not explain to you how incredibly hard it actually is to actually just go to that stage of applying to a university in medicine in Japan, and I wanted to explain that to you guys. I hope it made it a little bit clearer for you, so please let me know what you think about it. Let's give me I just wanted to explain to you what that actually means, what the significance is, and how hard it actually is to get into medicine here in Japan, so you can see why this is actually so significant and why this is actually so upsetting in my opinion. So guys, leave me comments down below. I'd like to find out what you're thinking about it. Is there a similar issue in your country, or do you think Japan has the right to do things like that? Does anyone have the right to do things like that? I don't think so. So let me know your comments and your ideas. I'm looking forward to reading them. If you tune in and you're new, I hope you are kind of inspired and stay around, and maybe hit the subscribe button. And if you're with me guys, don't forget to click the bell symbol on so you actually get notified about videos. Sorry this was quite serious. Usually I'm quite happy and chirpy, you know me guys, but I think this is a part of Japanese culture that needs to get worked on, and I hope Japan will sort itself out, because you know, we all deserve the education if we've worked hard for it and we got the score. So, I wish you a lovely day, and I'll catch you soon for another video here from Japan. And up until then, do what you love and love what you do, and don't let anyone else tell you that you're not good enough, because you're good enough.